2.5 months since that night in Istanbul, and today we find out our first 3 opponents in this season's Champions League. Thank you so much for joining us for a special Champions League draw match day live. And I'm joined in the studio by Nedum Onuoha, by Michael Brown and by David Mooney. Welcome. Thank you all for joining me. Are you excited to find out who our Champions League's opponents are going to be, Nedum?
To be honest, that 12-minute VT got me started. I enjoyed that. You know, there was some
watching it back.
That's a lot of goals as well, by the way. A lot of goals, great performances, great memories. Hopefully we can do it again. But yeah, today's the day.
Today's the day. Do you always get look forward to the draws, Michael?
I think it is. Obviously, it's the pinnacle, isn't it? It's something that, as a player, you ask all the players as well, that they look forward to the Champions League. Yes, the Premier League's there, but a lot of players from international sort of countries all around the world are looking at the Champions League being different to the Premier League. It's the best against the best, and it's the biggest test. And I think because it's took so long for Manchester City to finally get over the line, I think it's a bit more relaxed this year. I feel for me, it's something that go and enjoy, go and take it on, and I think you don't fear nobody. Everybody fears Manchester City, and it's going to be really interesting, the draw.
I agree, I kind of feel a lot more relaxed this season. How about you, David?
Yeah, exactly the same. You go into these draws now, and genuinely I'm sitting here going, I just want somebody new. Just like interesting teams that we've not played before. I don't care if they're good, I don't care if they're bad. Just give us some interesting draws, because like last season, that run to the final, City were imperious. And you look at the run they had. They beat Bayern Munich, they beat Real Madrid. It's like you shouldn't be scared of running into them again in the competition. They might beat you, you might beat them, but you'll get a good game out of it. So whatever happens, City will draw 3 teams that they'll get some good games.
So here's how it's going to work. The draw begins around 5 p.m. UK time. We're not sure how long it's going to take. Sometimes these things can take a little while, but we will be here with you the entire time. UEFA are also going to be giving out tonight the awards for the men's and women's players of the years and the men's and women's coaches of the years as well. So we will update you because, of course, Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne are nominated for the men's, and Pep is, of course, nominated for the manager as well. So in terms of the draw, you will know by now there are 4 different pots, 32 teams split between the 4 different pots. Pot 1, which we are in, which you can see, that consists of the holders. That's us. It also consists of the Europa League winners, so of course Sevilla, and then 6 domestic champions, all based on their coefficient points. So that is pot 1. We can't draw anybody else that's in pot 1. Then you have pot 2s, 3 and 4. They've been determined by the club's coefficient rankings. The higher your ranking, the higher up pot you're in, of course. So pots 2, 3 and 4. We cannot play another team from England, so we will not draw Arsenal, Manchester United or Newcastle at this group stage. We will draw a team from pot 2, a team from pot 3 and a team from pot 4. So nice and easy. Avoiding those English teams in the first stage, and 1 from each pot in a group. So as soon as the draw starts, we'll let you know, and as the teams start coming out, we'll start to give you our thoughts on all the different groups. And of course, in case you don't know, this is the last year that UEFA are doing it this way. Next year, the entire format of the Champions League changes as well, so we won't be enjoying another draw like this again. So immediately, you're looking at the pots, Nedum. There's a lot of big teams in 2. Anybody you want to avoid, or are you like the other side of the couch where you just don't care? Anyone?
Anyone I'd like to avoid? It's going to be tough, you know what I mean? But like City, they're the champions, aren't they? So whoever they face, like it's the Champions League, it's the draw. Everyone's earned the right to be here, so there's not going to be any sort of easy fixtures. There might be some familiar ones, might be some unfamiliar ones, but then I'd probably say there's probably 6 or 7 teams that I believe that can go all the way.
There's still 2 there,
Yeah, you're talking about Madrid.
Yeah, you've got to still avoid certain teams if you possibly
Atletico,
Real Madrid. You've got to try. Listen, I don't fear them for 1 minute. I don't suppose Nedum does at all, but you've got to try and make it as comfortable as you can along the journey, because the games have come so quickly.
The thing with them
Premier League
is, like, even if you win the group, they're probably going to finish second. You can run into them again later on in the tournament. So, like, you want the easiest group you can get through, because then you know you're going to get the difficult teams later on.
It's funny you say that, you know, because I know some people that say I want as hard a run as possible so that when we win it, it's
but those people are wrong. We know that.
I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you.
You mean like last season? It couldn't have got any worse, could it? When you've seen the draw,
Yeah, my heart sank.
Wow.
Did we do that show together?
Yeah, it's incredible, the draw.
When-
and you're thinking, this is the one to win.
Yeah, when
to
that
finally
draw,
silence everybody. And
when that draw happened, and then it was like Bayern Munich and then flipping
Real Madrid.
I was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
Like Bayern Munich's second leg away, I was like, oh my god! Like you believe they can do it, but you can all of a sudden start to see a reason why they won't. You know what I mean? But for these guys now, because they have done it.
But in knockout games as well, and this is the
Yeah.
point at that stage.
Yeah.
You're sort of going, you know, there's recovery time, isn't there?
Yeah.
In the group stages, if for instance, one where you got a couple of injuries, you have to protect a couple more, because it's right in between two big Premier League games, for instance. Then things can be slightly different. But
Is this the year as well? If the English teams do well, they get a fifth spot, don't they?
Oh, will they?
Yeah,
There's
I believe-
5 Spanish teams in it this year, but of course that's because Sevilla
Yeah.
won the Europa League.
But there's a fifth spot going into the next season, I think, where there are more teams, and that's provided that they perform well in this. So even though we keep keeping an eye on City's one, like there could be a big benefit for the rest of the league in seeing how like some of the other teams do as well.
so it's a good answer, but he's not actually said, is there anybody you'd like to avoid?
We both said Madrid. I've been to Madrid. I don't want to go back there. I've been to Madrid. Don't want to go back now. I just want
We're
to
looking
be.
for some nice places, aren't we? You know.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's funny because I remember when we did the show last year and we all said, oh, well, if we're going to win it, we might as well beat Bayern and we might as well beat Real. But I've got, honestly, when we won it, it wasn't any sweeter for me because of the teams we'd beaten on the way. So I'm quite happy to have the easiest possible journey that we can have throughout the entire competition.
But then
People say that, and people go, nobody ever remembers the run. But I promise you they do.
Yeah.
I don't care. I remember
Every
the
single
trophy
City
list.
fan, every single City fan remembers that Bayern Munich home game, that Real Madrid home game, and then into the build up to the final. It's
It
so
didn't
good.
make it better.
Yeah, it did. I promise you it did.
Not for me, it didn't. It didn't.
Real
Okay.
Madrid at home was
It was
Special. That was so special.
Yeah, it's pinnacle.
just
It
talking
really
about that when we were
Yeah.
watching it. I mean, that first half, I'm looking around, it was just sensational. That was what this. So you ask about this competition. Do you get excited? Do you see it? That's why you do, because of those moments.
Absolutely. So we have our guests in the studio. The show has not started. The draw has not started yet. We'll update you as soon as it does. We've also got some fans on our React to wall from around the world. City fans represented from around the world. Hey, everybody! Give us a wave. Okay, we're going to go down first of all to Ian and Noah, the big Edison fans you can see there. Noah, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
And is that's your granddad next year?
Yeah.
Granddad Ian in his City bucket hat. Love it. Noah, are you a big Edison fan?
Yeah.
Is he your favourite?
Yeah. I've made time.
Are you going to be a goalkeeper?
I am one.
Ah, yes. Love that. Okay, Grandad Ian, who are you hoping to draw or avoid, or who's standing out for you in the draw?
I think, like the fella said, there's nobody to. We're actually champions, rightly so I think should bring anybody on.
And you've got your Champions League final programme behind you there, Noah, as well, I can see.
Yeah, my granddad.
Wow, did you go, Ian?
No, I didn't go. I wish. I stayed at home. And I remember.
It certainly was. Thank you. Thank you so much. So it's Ian and Noah. Are you guys in Manchester?
Yes.
You are. Right, lovely. Well, let's go halfway around the world to China and back on the React to wall after popular demand. It's Waits. Hey, Waits. Oh, we can't hear you, Waits. Are you on mute? Always happens. Always happens. Right, we'll come back to you in just a second. Oh, we'll come back to you in a second, Waits. Okay, let's go over to Pam. Hi, Pam.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm excited, Pam. How are you?
absolutely wonderful. So relieved that we won it last year. And this year is just enjoy it.
I think we're all agreeing on that, definitely. Where in the world are you, Pam?
In Mallorca, we have Mallorca Blues, the supporter club, in Campus.
Mallorca Blues. Oh, do you know what? I'm happy to be in the studio with you guys, but I think I'd rather be with the Mallorca Blues right now.
I know where she's going with this. She's thinking, I can go present one from Mallorca.
I
know
definitely
exactly
think
what's
we should
happening.
take a show to
You
Mallorca.
would be more than welcome. Everyone who is there in the studio, please come and visit.
You're very, very kind.
Yeah,
Pam, anybody
sure.
that you want to avoid?
Real Madrid, to be honest. I was a nervous wreck for the game when we played them, and then during the game, obviously, tremendous. But I don't want to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all kind of feel the same. Right, let's
I
go.
would like to have Sophia Dad, if possible.
Lovely. Okay. Thank you. Right, that's Pam, who's in Mallorca. We've got Waits in China. We've got Ian and Noah in Manchester. We're going to go across to New York now. And we've got my friend Kronk. Hi, Kronk.
Hey, how's it going, Natalie?
How are you, love?
I'm very well. It's good to see you. Hey, Nedum, Michael, David.
How you doing?
Now, Kronk has a podcast he's in America. And what's the name of it again, Kronk?
Shades of Blue podcast.
Shades. So he's representing the Blues out in America. Anybody you're fancying in the draw?
I'm just excited to see some new clubs. Honestly, I'm just enjoying this season. I'm happy that we're here after the treble-winning season last year, the teams they went through. It's just vibes.
You're just loving life as a treble winner.
Truly.
Yes, I think we're all feeling that. I love that. And then let's chat to Sarah. So we've had Sarah. I said to you, I've lost count the amount of times we've had you on the wall now. You're a lucky charm for last season. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. Now, usually we speak to you in Germany, but you're not in Germany today.
That's right. I'm with my parents in Cumbria. I'm a big City fan, so we're all excited for the draw.
Lovely. Oh, it's so lovely to have you in England, not too far from us. Are you hoping for a German team in the draw?
I am. I would really like to play Union, and it would be home game for us. It would be so nice to have you guys in London again.
I'm the same. That's the one team that I really want to draw. Never been in the Champions League before, and I think that would be a wonderful trip and a wonderful experience as well. Lovely. Thank you so much, Sarah. We'll speak to you in a minute. We're hoping we've got Waits back.
Hello?
Are you there, Waits?
Hey.
Hi, Waits. Now, before we ask you about the Champions League, tell me about the picture behind you.
Johnny!
Surely right. And when did you meet him?
Yeah, we met in Istanbul. But I was too nervous to ask him to give me an autograph.
Oh, you never need to be nervous.
So you just said, give us a
surely.
picture instead. Is that what you said? Don't want an autograph, we'll just have a picture. That's better than the autograph, isn't it? The picture. Perfect.
Oh, I'm so happy you got to Istanbul, Waits. In terms of this year's Champions League, who are you fancying City to draw?
Because we are now the defending champions. This season, the Champions League seems more entertaining for me. So anyone would be okay. If I have to pick one, I think Inter would be okay. Because in the final, we didn't play it too well to prove that we won the championship. If we have them in the group, I think we can play better and to let them know that we can beat them very easily.
So you want to rub it in a little bit harder? You want to rub it in some more and say, we beat you and didn't play well, now we want to beat you properly and show you what we can do?
Yeah, more entertaining. And the other team is Celtic. I want to see Joe Hart come back again.
Yes.
you can imagine, can't you, Natalie? Celtic would be unbelievable, wouldn't it? Imagine the atmosphere, the travel inside, the games. Would be, I think a lot of people are saying that to them. I'm sure Celtic would be interested to do that as well.
I'm sure Celtic don't want to draw us, though. We'd like them, but...
I don't know.
I think everyone
else in that draw's looking at City going, let's not have to go to there, aren't they?
I think you've got to look at others as well. You say, are they realistically going to go through as well? They'd like to, for certain, but it's going to be tough for Celtic, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody. Stay there. We'll come back to you shortly as the draw starts to evolve, and we'll get the opinions of you all, our City fans, on a reaction wall from around the world, representing Blues all over the world. Thank you so much. So, the draw hasn't started yet. UEFA are doing their introduction show currently. As soon as we start to see the pots and the balls, we will let you all know. Now, a little bit earlier on, we spoke to Spanish football journalist Guillem Balaguer. He told us who are the contenders that are coming after our title.
You have to say that Bayern Munich now have got a striker that will give them a lot of goals, and that was something that was missing last season. It's a mystery what PSG is going to do. Would Mbappe stay or not? We will see. Real Madrid don't seem to be in an urgency to get him, but if there is a possibility, they will try. In which case, changes what we're saying. But if it stays as it is, Real Madrid, with the absence at the moment of Militao, Courtois for 6 weeks of Vinicius, still is a strong side with a Jude Bellingham that is a 9 and a 10 and is scoring. They will be competitive. They know how to compete in these knockout competitions. Barcelona, I don't see them that strong. In Italy, it was a bit of an accident what happened last season. I think it had to do with the peculiarities of that campaign, but not so much about the power that they've got. And other threats will come from the Premier League. So usual suspects, I would say. I think some of the new teams or teams that haven't been regular, like Union Berlin and Lens and Real Sociedad, will add a little bit of glamour and hopefully interesting results. They are strong sides. They know how to defend. They know how to attack, and they are in pot 4. So they could be in groups of death that will make life difficult for stronger sides. But in any case, you wouldn't be completely surprised that the likes of Real Madrid and Manchester City, for instance, end up in the semi-finals of the Champions League.
Thank you so much. That's Spanish football expert Guillem Balaguer. He'll be joining us a little bit later on as well, giving more of his opinions on the teams that are in the draw. So the draw hasn't started yet. We'll keep you updated as soon as we see the balls. As soon as the draw starts, we will let you know. Just a reminder, 32 teams, 4 pots. We are in pot 1. We can't draw anybody from pot 1, and we can't draw any English sides. Everybody else is fair game. If we're thinking back to a year ago, to the draw from a year ago and the group stage from a year ago, we played Sevilla, Dortmund and Copenhagen. Of course, we finished top of the group. We were unbeaten in the group. We won all of our home games. We drew 2 0-0s away at Dortmund and at Copenhagen. And Stones and Haaland both competed in their own goal of the season competition against Dortmund. I mean, that was a game, David, wasn't it? That home game was insane.
Everyone remembers that Haaland finish against Dortmund, but the moment Stones hit that, like that, I wasn't lucky enough to be in the ground for that. I was watching from my living room. I'd been in work, and I had a long day at work, and I got home, and I was like, I just put this game, and it's a really frustrating game. And then Stones hits it, and you know what? I don't think I sat down for the rest of the game. I was up in that living room like nobody's business. It's an incredible finish.
I can't believe he was too tired not to come to the game. I mean, come on. I thought he'd be a little bit stronger than that. But anyway, it was a wonderful strike, wasn't it? I mean, special. It's a great game because you felt that uncertainty towards Haaland, didn't you? Of what's going to happen, where's he going to go? But yeah, incredible finish.
Mm.
And then, of course, later on in that game, it was like it was written, playing against his former club, Michael. And I'll never get over this goal from Erling Haaland.
Do you know what, for me, I was looking and thinking, where is he? I'm expecting something from him. Is he going to score? Is he going to create a lot? Is he going to get lots of chances? And thought, it's just running away from him. Is it going to be one of those nights that nothing happens and then all of a sudden, and it was about the ball in as well.
Yeah,
and that ball in was a special ball, but because of the way he approached this finish, whenever we see it, I don't think I've really seen a finish like this. from anybody.
Not having not at his best night, and
No.
he goes, I'll just dislocate my hip.
And the thing is, that finish, as we watch it back to reverse it, you'd see it normally, you'd lead with your right foot, and you'd be able to get more surface area, you'd just be able to guide it back across. And because he's done that, he's so far in the sky against his form, and then he just runs off, and it was like he's made himself all over again. It was just an absolute wonderful goal, that special goal.
Got to admit, Nedum, I really don't want to draw Dortmund again this year. I feel like we've played Dortmund. I don't know, it feels like we play them every season.
Well, this is true, but as long as you keep beating them, does it really matter? That's the thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
excellent
Think of
point.
it positive from that side.
Imagine what they're thinking.
Yeah. Seen this before.
Sometimes you got to think we'll take them again.
It's true,
psychologically.
I'm just looking for a bit of variety in my life, yes. It was a special night, though, because, of course, the game was tough at the start. I think people were starting to wonder, is this not going to be our night? And then the Stones goal and the incredible Haaland goal, for me, that was the moment, one of the moments of the season where I was like, oh, yeah, no, this is a special season.
Really, that early, you think?
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't necessarily feel it at that point, but as they were entering the knockouts, I could feel it. And I think, as we were saying before, like the Bayern Munich games and that first half against Real Madrid, like that was stunning.
Well, early on in the stage in the season when the Champions League come up, I was more hoping.
Yeah.
Thinking, please be there, please get it done after the disappointment of seasons prior. And I think it's got to be put to bed. I don't really concentrate on anything else other than the Champions League and for them to be done like they did and just literally gone about the business, got the results early on in the group stages, and it set it up perfect.
I think early in the group stages is right, because I also sat in here for the 2-0-0s. And I'm thinking, oh wow, this is a tough
You must have been delighted with the 0-0 at Copenhagen, though, because have you not got the last goal there still?
Listen, I didn't want to mention that, but yeah, I do technically have.
Did you set him up? Did you ask him?
I'm obsessed with that game. That 2-0 draw. I don't know why that UEFA Cup run in 2008-9. I don't know why it lives in my head.
Is it the run, or is that Nedum scored?
No, it's the run. The fact we were in Europe, literally in Europe, like
was that a year we qualified because we were the best behaved?
Or
did we qualify that year?
No. I think that was the first season in the new stadium, or second season.
Yeah.
Where it's like the TNS and the Poznan. Yeah. That was the Poznan year, wasn't it?
Good question.
Testing our memories.
Yeah, wasn't that the case? Poznan's not been a Champions League thing. It's from
I think that was Champions League. I think that was a few years ago in the Champions League. It's about 10 years ago.
Right, okay. So it's the UEFA Cup then, when they were playing like TNS and things like that. Do you remember playing Total Network Solutions at the stadium? Yeah.
I feel like that was a friendly.
No,
that was UEFA Cup qualifying.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah, there we go. I'm sure some historian will tell us.
We're really testing our memories.
Big Champions League games as well.
Yeah, one of them.
Amazing.
Mighty Man City, early 2000s, yeah.
2000s. The draw has not started yet. We will let you know as soon as it does. You scored against Copenhagen. Should we have a look at another goal against Copenhagen? Of course, we played him in the group stage last season. Julian Alvarez with this goal. And I think what I loved so much about our group stage last season as well was the fact that we just wrapped it up so quickly and we qualified as soon as we could, which I would very much like us to do, take some of the pressure off again this season.
It would be nice, yeah. Do you know, something I remember from this game was that run that Jack did just then was something which he started to do a lot more around this time. But if you didn't watch the game, you wouldn't have seen that he scored or had an assist. But that's a huge part of what that goal is, and I think people start to give him a bit more credit from this point. But it's a magnificent run. That touch from Mahrez as well. Like, nobody controls the ball like that. Come on.
Riyad's touch is ridiculous. And do you know what he says? He has that snigger about it. My left foot. He loves it. He plays on it as well, saying nobody's got one like that. But obviously Alvarez getting away, and it is important. Jack Grealish getting more confident throughout the journey, because he started a touch slow, didn't he, and then finally got better and better, got into better areas, and everything starts to come into play.
Even after the World Cup, and when he'd come back and he was in the team, and Guardiola's saying publicly, there's a reason you're in the team, there's a reason why what you're contributing, and you can still hear him publicly saying, I need to contribute more. So you can see his attitude there. But at the same time, you're like as somebody, you two have played the game, you know a lot more about kind of the input into the team than I do. But someone who's just watching it as a layman, I'm looking at it going, well, you are affecting games, you are causing things to happen. And if he's standing there going, I need to contribute more, it's like, what more can you do? How much further can you go?
that word contribute as well, you hear so many of them saying it in interviews. I find that so fascinating. So the draw looks like it is about to start soon. They do have the people that are picking the balls in place behind their little podiums. They do have the little glass balls with the balls in, so it should be starting very soon. I imagine they'll pull the teams from pot 1 first and put them into their numbered groups. So still a little while till we find out who we will be playing, which means it does give us a chance to have a look at that Sevilla game, our other group stage game, the team that we played in the group stage last season. And of course, it was a particularly special game for one young Mancunian because Rico Lewis scored his first goal for Manchester City in the Champions League. What a way to do it. First goal, Champions League. Special night for him, special player. Lovely finish as well, Brownie.
Yeah, it was a great finish, and just look at the delight. You know, we talk a lot about youngsters growing up, wanting to get involved in big games, dreams, and you know, it's underestimated because that is a dream to go and do that, to score in a Champions League game, to get in those positions, and it was a top finish, and never ever forget that moment ever in his life.
When you come through the academy, what's it like the moment that ball crosses the line for the first time for you?
Well, as you know, it didn't happen too often for me. Possibly Nedum as well. Through the academy.
I'm with you.
Do you know, coming through this academy, you knew it was such a good pathway. You knew you're gonna get an opportunity, and you knew what it meant to the supporters very, very quickly. And it was just a pleasure to be involved. And when you do get that goal and you do get that feeling, it's just a fantastic thing. And it goes back from, you know, when you first get to that sort of situation is what you've done ever since a youngster. It all sort of comes out once your debut. I feel like one is the game's getting bigger, and then your first goal is a totally different feeling. And I just can't believe how calm and cultured he's been since he's got in the team. Sort of so mature.
I just wouldn't believe his age.
Big games, and it's continued in different positions. And he's been a credit, hasn't he? Not just for what he's done, but I felt like the way he's handled it as well.
Hugely. It's 18-year-old Rico Lewis, academy graduate, scoring his debut goal in the Champions League. What a wonderful additional little extra story to that incredible Champions League that we had last season. So the draw again hasn't quite started. They're going through the groups now. I think they're explaining how it all works. Of course, you know already, 32 teams, 4 pots. We're in pot 1. We cannot draw another team from pot 1, and we cannot draw another team from England. Now, we've already mentioned, Sarah mentioned them, we mentioned Union Berlin. It is their first ever time in the Champions League. They sit in pot 4. Guillem Balaguer, our Spanish football expert, was speaking to us a little bit earlier. He highlighted them and another team for a place where the fans might particularly like to go.
I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure at some point I'll have to go, and it would be a good place to go if you're a City fan. If you go to Lens, the place is wonderful, but also the fans are fantastic. One of the best fans you're going to come across. They're welcoming, but they're noisy. They're not as scary as the Marseille one, but they make as much noise. There will be a very colourful game if you meet them in the group stages. And Union Berlin is another one that has got a wonderful story behind it. And it will be a good opportunity to recap those stories, like when fans gave 140,000 free hours of labour to rebuild the stadium at the beginning of the century. Or when, in Germany, if you give blood, you get paid for it. So almost everyone who was a Union Berlin fan gave blood to raise money so they could register in the new German league. So all that is a sign of a club that have got the fans at the heart of it. And when that happens, it really is a great experience because fans want to welcome those that come from abroad and want to give them a good experience. That's what tends to happen when you go across Europe. And I think that Manchester City fans have already experienced that.
Yeah, thank you so much to Guillem Balaguer there. We'll be hearing a little bit more from him later. Union Berlin, a team that has been mentioned already a few times. First ever time that they've appeared in the Champions League. Sarah, you mentioned them, of course. What is it about? What can you tell us about them? Would City fans enjoy going there?
As a member of the Berlin Supporters Club, I think I could say City fans will really enjoy visiting Berlin. Absolutely, I think you'll find the fans are very warm, welcoming, and hopefully the city in general. And as we've said, the history of the club is amazing. So I think it's a great chance for them to be in the Champions League. I think they would be really excited to draw Manchester City. So I think everyone would have just a great experience.
We heard Guillaume talking about the incredible history, the way that fans volunteered their hours to help build the stadium, and the campaign where fans essentially raised money to save the club. Part of that being donating blood, literally giving their blood for their club. Is Union Berlin in Berlin? Is it a very, very community-based club? Does it feel like a club that's owned by the city?
Well, I have friends who support Hertha, friends who support Union. And have season tickets for Union. So I know it doesn't have the same feeling of United City. I think maybe people are a little more friendly about it. But I think, for sure, I think in general in the Bundesliga, there's often a really sort of community feeling around. So I think definitely it's very much a community thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So the draw is starting. They are pulling the teams out of pot 1 now, and they're going to be putting those into the different groups. So the first team that has come out is Bayern Munich. So they will go into Group A. There we go. Nice and simple. I told you this might take a little while, Brownie.
Do you know what's happened? I think they've been listening to you, how to organise the pot, and they've started watching, started listening to your format, and it's all coming true now. You've done quite well with it. You've actually looked and learned today.
I have, Brownie.
You've done a bit of homework.
Wait till you start seeing my knowledge when we pull teams out of you.
Well, that's what I was actually saying. Every team that comes out, you're going to say this, and this about them. We were on about that in the cup draw yesterday, weren't we?
Yes.
About how you actually say about how they've gone on, what's next, what's the history. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, you're welcome. I've got the UEFA website
there
open on my
iPad. There is quite a few teams though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If you wanted to know, by the way, it's Joe Cole and Eric Abidal that are doing the draw today. I'm not sure. We'll find out which one of them is going to pull City out, but it is coming. Joe Cole currently pulled a ball out. The second team out is Napoli.
No, third team.
Third team out. I missed one. Yeah. Okay. Brownie, you distracted me. Sevilla are out, and Napoli are into Group C. Lovely. We'll be out soon. That trophy is beautiful, by the way, Nedum. So in the draw, our Champions League trophy is centre place on the stage in the draw. I'll never tire of seeing that trophy. Never. Okay, the fourth team out are Benfica, of course, from Portugal.
Brown, have you ever done a draw for a cup thing?
Not like not the Champions League one, no.
Yeah, which ones have you done?
Have you done the Papa John's?
I'm surprised that trophy's there because you spent so much time with it, Natalie. I mean, she tried to steal it. She was next to it, hiding
it as a mirror,
mirror, ordered drinks inside of it, everything. So, looking well though, it's recovered, hasn't it? Since
I love it. Every time I see it, I feel happy. So Feyenoord have just come out, of course, Dutch champions. Best European performance, they were the winners in 69-70. There you go.
Remember it well, yeah.
Facts, full of facts. Right, Joe Cole pulls another team out. Paris Saint-Germain, French champions, are out. So there's not many teams left. We'll know shortly what groups. That's Group F for Paris Saint-Germain. So is there only one or two left? Okay, Joe Cole's doing an exquisite job of turning those balls, by the way, isn't he?
Poor Man City, isn't he? This is it.
This is it.
This is it.
He had a 50-50 chance and he got lucky.
Yeah, right, Joe Cole pulls out Manchester City. We get a shot on the screen of Cheeky, who's out there, of course, representing City. Group G. Is that a lucky number, Nedum? A lucky letter?
I was going to say, yeah. G for good, yeah. Happy days.
Yeah. When do you want to count down?
Yeah. Are you happy with being in Group G, David?
Perfectly fine. I'll find out when we know who else has gone in there, I think.
What's the history of us in Group G?
Oh.
There you go.
Oh gosh, he's stumped me.
Certainly not a long one though, is it? That's the thing.
Me, yeah.
It was Group G last year.
I wish we had David James in here right now, by the way.
He'd tell us,
tell us.
I don't know what group
or he'd tell you about a Group G back in some particular situation that happened. Yeah.
The reason I asked about the draw thing, because I did it once last year, it's for the Carabao, thinking that it was going to be...
Did you?
Yeah, unfortunately when City lost Southampton, and I dropped a ball in the practice, So when it was time to do it on the actual show, oh my God, talk about nerves. Like my hands are shaking, like getting the ball out.
You'd never do the unscrewing. And
no, but all I had to do was just lift it up and show I just had to show the number.
Oh, was it a
but I
number?
literally had it in my hand and dropped it. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, don't want that one. I'll have another one.
Yeah.
People are going to think you're cheating.
Martin O'Neill
No,
did
trust
it
me, I
on the
didn't.
last round, and he was talking to every ball. So like, by the time he was like saying number 22, and in the end they had to tell him to say you've got to. So last night's draw, obviously they had to divert and say please don't talk into the ball. It's not a microphone. But they're doing very, very good on this one. This is where it gets interesting, isn't it? When pot 2 comes out, this is where you start to really see it develop.
Yeah, so Manchester United and Arsenal are both in pot 2, of course. We cannot draw them. We'll let you know who they get as well.
Real Madrid in pot 2 is wild. But
Real Madrid, yes.
There's so many dangerous teams to run into there, isn't there?
Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, RB Leipzig and Porto. We will draw one of those teams.
A couple of them out nice and early in this one, please.
Real straight
Madrid
away.
can come out quite quickly as they just start to do it.
Of course, the teams from Spain or whatever team, you can't draw another team from the country that you're from in this stage as well. So this is where their supercomputer starts to have to work. So this will come out and it should go into Group A unless it's already with a team from their country. So Borussia Dortmund. Oh, okay. So we won't be playing them. I'm happy.
Oh, we don't know yet. Do they not do the... Yeah, they're going to pick out a group letter.
Oh, so we might be playing them. Oh, they've got to pick out a group. Oh, okay, right. We're catching up on the draw as we watch. So now they're picking out a letter. I thought it just
I was wondering when Abidal was going to have a go at it.
Right.
Yeah. It's been standing
Eric
there for so long.
Abidal has been called up now to pick out a group ball. So we might draw.
So they're on that. Yeah, they're on that side of the draw, aren't they? Is that right? Because Bayern are in the first side.
Half. Yeah.
So it's going to be Group G.
These could drop into Group G.
This is Group G.
Oh, it's going to be Group G.
This is Group G.
I just said that.
Take it.
Let's be having Eric. Oh, it's F.
F.
Great. So Borussia Dortmund go into Group F. So Paris Saint-Germain and Borussia Dortmund.
You got your wish.
I did get my wish. I really didn't want to play them again.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
You know,
No, well, if we'd have drawn them, we couldn't have
Atletico.
Union Berlin if we'd have drawn them.
You best be careful.
No, you be careful what you wish for,
Yeah,
eh?
if you lift yourself a
I'm
little
not
bit
scared of
wide,
anyone.
yeah.
Right, Joe Cole's in action again. He's pulled out Arsenal, of course.
This won't
We
involve
cannot
City,
draw
yeah.
Arsenal. We'll see who they...
It's going to be Arsenal Bayern, isn't it? Kane coming down and just like slapping them around.
Oh,
That's what it's
you
going to be.
fancy that?
It's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
Okay, now Eric Abidal will pick out the group letter and we'll find... There's a lot... this man that's doing all of the picking outs, he's really got to pay attention. Imagine if he dropped one in Nedum, the whole thing would be...
I bet he's got some.
Who did that?
I bet he's got some really good help in his ear, though.
Did not do that? Was it last year or the year before where they had to redo the draw?
No, it was the practice draw. It was the preview draw. They drew a team. They drew one team into a group they couldn't go into,
right?
And it caused problems later down the line.
B. Arsenal are in Group B with Sevilla.
Right. Okay.
Who were the Europa League champions last season. Okay.
5th Champions League spot coming. Yeah.
Yes, of course we beat them in the Super Cup.
Yeah.
Right, Joe Cole is working hard tonight. He's just pulling out another team from pot 2.
Here we go.
Okay, he's pulled out Atletico Madrid.
Here we go. I'm not going to say anything.
Obviously, do you think as well?
It's the only two options. It's E or G. That's it.
So there's quite a lot of Spanish. There's 5 Spanish teams in the draw.
Wow.
They had
So
4
it's 50-50.
through their league placing, and then 1, obviously Sevilla through the Europa
So
League.
50-50,
we have a
yeah.
50-50 chance now of drawing Atletico Madrid.
Might as well make it 100. Oh.
E, we do not draw Atletico Madrid. You okay, Waits? Give us a thumbs up.
Fine.
Yes. He's all right, okay.
Happy with that one.
So, Feyenoord and Atletico Madrid. Why do we all suddenly feel like it's gone nervous
So Real
in here?
are on the other side now then? So,
Real must have to be on the other side, yeah.
Because it's in Madrid, isn't it? So, yeah. Manchester United, here we go.
Well, they can't come into City's side of the draw, so they'll be on Arsenal's side of the draw. Yeah, so
Yes.
they could end up with they've got to go in A, C, or D.
I think Bayern were A, weren't they?
Yeah.
Lovely.
So Manchester
that'd be
United are
unfortunate
out.
if they dropped into there, wouldn't it?
Would be such a shame.
Okay, Manchester United are going into Group
Getting that excited to see, eh? Look at her.
Go on, give him someone hard.
Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich. Manchester United will take on Bayern Munich.
They didn't want Kane anyway, did they? You know what I mean? They always wanted Haaland.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a big.
I'm getting vibes that's going to be the group. Like, you'll see, like, Celtic could go in there as well, and there'll be something drastic in there, I reckon.
Oh, dear. Okay, RB Leipzig.
They could be coming to our side of the draw, I think.
Do they have a choice? Oh, they could, yeah.
RB
Can't come into our
Leipzig.
group, though, by the looks of that.
They can.
C, D, G and H, it looks like.
It's G.
Okay.
Oh, we're in G, we're not in
yeah.
F. Yes,
No,
good,
G.
good, well, good. Just testing, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure you guys were asleep like me.
Making sure you're paying attention.
Hope you're all sticking with us on this.
And if you're Leipzig now, you're thinking, no, thank you, not Manchester City.
Not again. 7-0 last season, not again.
Yeah, of course. So RB Leipzig have been drawn into group letter G.
There we
so
go.
we have our first opponent in this season's Champions League, and it is RB Leipzig.
If you sign Guardiola, of course you play his old team.
We said
There's always
before
a
that.
story.
We said before, myself and Nedum, we said which teams would you like, and that was one out of pot two that we said you'd have
I know, but it
won.
means we can no longer get Union Berlin that we all wanted so badly, because of course.
Listen, you can still take a trip if you want. They play more than just this guy.
So, of course, we knocked Leipzig out in the round of 16 last year. Of course, that was 8-1 on aggregate. We had that incredible home game against them where they were absolutely thumped. What a game that was. So, the pot twos are nearly done. Benfica are playing Inter Milan. That is in Group D. 2 teams still to go. So, Leipzig, what do you think? Happy? Decent out of teams we
I
could have got?
think Leipzig without Nkunku, without Guardiola, without Szoboszlai, those are 3 big misses for them. So they won't probably be as good as they were last year, but it'll be tough. They're in pot 2, aren't they?
It is Champions League. You have to respect it, and I think this is what the club does. And Pep Guardiola and all these players. But I think, let's be honest, you look at the rest of the teams in there. I think that's a really, really positive outcome. It's a good draw, I'm sure. Everybody at the club would be delighted with that.
Yeah, as Michael was saying before, if you end up with that fixture in between 2 difficult Premier League games, it's you look at it and go, thank God it's not Real Madrid, thank God it's not Atletico Madrid. There's worse teams to play at this stage.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So Napoli and Real Madrid have made up Group C. Right, while we wait for the next, so pot 3s to be drawn, we're going to go to our fans around the world. Crunk, we've drawn RB Leipzig. How do you feel? What do you think?
We play them too much, but I'm excited to see them, naturally. The Guardiola going against his old club, that'll be fun. That's really all I feel about it. I was hoping for Union.
I'm the same. I think we all fancied a completely new team. Pam, how are you feeling in Mallorca? Are you happy with that draw so far?
Yeah, fine. Wondering if it's fate, because my daughter and I went to the Etihad and saw 7 amazing goals.
Oh, you were here from Mallorca?
Yes. Yeah, we got flying.
Okay, I think, Pam, you're going to have to try and do whatever you can to get back for that game again, because I'd like 7 again.
Okay.
Thank you, Pam. Right, Noah and Ian in Manchester. Noah, what do you think of that, RB Leipzig?
I think it's good. I think an alright match.
City will win. I like that. Ian, what do you make of the draw?
Well, I mean, trip to Germany, really known for the fans, right there. And they have great beer as well. That's about Union Berlin. That'd be a fantastic trip. Be on the east side of Berlin, the Cotton area, which I know quite well. But, any trip to Germany, great.
I love that, Ian. You're thinking like so many of our fans that'll be watching this. That'd be a cracking trip. I like the beer there. Yes. Thanks, Ian. Right, they are now on to pot 3. So, as it was before, Joe Cole pulls the ball out, unscrews the top, brings out a name. He's brought out Shakhtar Donetsk, of course, Ukrainian champions. They're
a team. I feel like City play Shakhtar every week in the Champions League.
It's the travel as well, isn't it?
Well, so they won't. Shakhtar will not be, of course, sadly playing in their own stadium. They will be playing their Champions League group stages in Hamburg.
Does that affect which groups can go in then? Or
I
is it
don't know,
fully
actually.
open?
That's a good shout.
For policing, maybe, I don't know.
I shouldn't have positioned myself as the expert here, should I?
It looks like they can go anywhere.
Okay, so now Eric Abidal draws which says which group they will be going into.
When was the last time they played Shakhtar?
It's probably a while ago now.
That's what I mean. What a feeling,
it feels like every season.
Well, they're not playing City anyway.
Group H. They go in a group with Barcelona, Porto and Shakhtar Donetsk. So that is Group H.
Do you know what? I love Champions League, you know.
Copenhagen.
Again?
Yeah.
Leipzig, Copenhagen.
I hear the beer was expensive over there, so I don't think Ian will fancy that Copenhagen. Few people went and said it was pricey. Right, we've got...
Red Star Belgrade, is it?
Red Star Belgrade. Serbian champions.
What's the other pronunciation for it?
I was practicing.
You practiced this before.
I was practicing it before I was. Okay, hold on. Krevenza Zvezda.
I think she's slurring her words. We need to help you know.
I apologise to any Serbians.
You're very brave for having a go at it, to be fair.
Yes. I was practicing it as well, wasn't I? Thank you.
This would be a good draw, new team.
Okay, yes.
Have you been to Serbia before?
I haven't.
That's an intense journey, that, when you get over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
have you
intense.
been?
Yeah, I've
Playing?
been, yeah. Playing, yeah.
Right, they are in
There we
Group
go.
G.
This
Hello?
is you did this.
Right,
You did this.
Are you not fine with that?
You did.
Red Star Belgrade, the Serbian champions. Last season, they were knocked out in the playoffs of the Europa League group stages. They did win the Champions League all the way back in 1990, 1991. Okay, what do we think?
I think it's a good draw.
We think it's a good draw.
Would you not feel like, to be fair, most teams I saw in that pot three, it's like...
Yeah, but you're going to see that now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Manchester City being champions, the clubs that we're talking about. I mean, we're at pot three for a reason. There's still some dangerous teams that you look straight away. But, you know, AC Milan.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's true.
But, you know, you've got to be positive. I think the draw looks really good.
100%, yeah.
Interestingly enough, Red Star Belgrade completed their third consecutive league double last season. They've lost one league game in Serbia in 3 seasons. So, they're fairly solid
Can
at
you
home.
name me the title rivals?
I don't know
cool,
who
we'll
their
move on.
title rivals
We'll
are.
move on.
Transplant City into that league, and how many games do you think they've lost in the last 3 years?
I am not the statistician. I am not David James. PSV Eindhoven have just been drawn out into Arsenal's group, by the way, if you're keeping an eye on the other English teams. Right, AC Milan have just come out the hat.
This would be awful if they dropped into Group A, wouldn't it?
Or what, with Bayern Munich and Manchester United? Right, AC Milan are going to be going into...
They can only go... I don't think they can go into A, actually.
It's tense, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because we've not got the sound on.
Okay.
Should we be playing fancy music otherwise?
Yes, they would. Yeah, so they are going to be drawn into Group F. So F is AC Milan, Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, and AC Milan. Are we calling it Group of Death already?
What I love...
Group of F, what? What's that?
Mate.
It's 2 in a day.
Mate.
It's 2 in a day. Twice.
Look at Brownie's face.
Good, is it?
What do you think?
What I love about this bit is when they cut to all the representatives in the audience who were going, just smile, you're on camera, just smile.
That guy didn't look too happy though. No, I'm sure I saw some swear words in Italian there.
Smile and nod. Smile and nod. Okay, so we are about halfway through pot 3 now. We know that Manchester City have already drawn, I've forgotten, Red Star Belgrade and RB Leipzig. That is the draw so far. They are drawing out the next team now. They're completing off pot 3. Let's see what our fans think about that draw. Wait, what do you make of our group so far?
Easy group because we have the World Club Cup in December. I think easy group will make us be more comfortable to play the tournament, and I hope we can win the tournament the first in our history. So
Okay.
if group would very
Who's left?
very good. Yeah.
Waits is thinking. I mean, that's really strategic thinking. I like that. What do you? So Waits thinks he likes the group. He thinks it's easier. We've got the World Club Cup in December. It's a bit of a nice warm up to get there, Brownie.
Well, it is a nice warm up. I mean, it's the Champions League. We have to respect it. You say it's an easy draw. It does look good, doesn't it? We've got to admit, people will be saying, if you're at other clubs, they'll be saying, City have got a comfortable draw. That's what. Do you not agree, Nedum?
I think that's fair. Yeah,
it's a comfortable one. You've avoided the bigger teams, and at times you might be able to make a few changes into the areas when things are looking tight in Premier League fixtures and going into obviously the Christmas period.
Copenhagen coming to Manchester again, playing Manchester United.
Yeah. So Group A now is Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and FC Copenhagen. So are we done with pot? One more team left in pot 3, and then we'll have the 3 teams in each group completed so far. So the last one that's come out is Braga. Lovely, we'll keep you updated as soon as pot 4 starts drawing. We'll let you know. Let's see what our fans around the world think. Sarah, what are you making of our group so far?
I'm kind of excited for Serbia. I've never been there. I think that might be quite fun. And I'm guessing their fans are going to be great intense, so it's probably a good atmosphere. So if we don't get the win after all that hyping up how nice that atmosphere in Berlin is, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Celtic and Joe Hart, because I would love to see them get this up to third.
Yes, that would be fun. We can still draw Celtic there in pot 4. Pam, what are you making? We've got 2 of our 3 teams now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great draw, isn't it? Can't complain about that. Give us time to concentrate on the competitions and the league.
So we could still draw Sociedad, Pam, because we don't have a Spanish team yet. You wanted them?
Yes, but I mean, I know we're going to get silver. But they're still a really good team. And maybe I could go and watch the game.
We're going to do that. We've got to get it for Pam, haven't we? Surely got to get that draw.
Yes.
Be happy, but
yes, please.
Fingers crossed.
Get that draw for Pam.
It just gives Alistair Mann a little bit of time. I'm just looking at the Belgrade team. When you start to go, the pronunciations, the players, the different things. So Ali will be on it already. He'll already be statting up, ready for commentary.
Ali will know how to pronounce them all.
No.
I think he just sits at home practicing names.
Well, probably, yeah. He'll be watching this way, he'll be ready, he'll be setting off.
Any players we recognise?
So, if you have a Mitrovic,
of course,
everyone's like that sort of pronunciation.
Okay.
You know? There's lots of good players, to be fair, Serbia.
Okie dokie. So, pot 4 is about to begin. So, we have RB Leipzig, so we cannot draw a German team. We have Red Star Belgrade so far in our group, and they are beginning now. So, we are. So, you hoping for Celtic, maybe, or are you just easy?
I don't really mind. I'd like a team that we've not played before, because I like to do when we do the podcast. I like to speak to new people and kind of new interesting fans of other clubs.
Yes.
So I'll be happy with a team we've not played before. Celtic wouldn't be so bad.
Sociedad. Okay. Pam, ready? Okay. Stand by, Pam. Right. They can go into us because we don't have a Spanish team so far. Pam is holding her breath, wondering, can she make the trip?
She's got everything crossed as well.
And legs and everything. Would you fancy Sociedad if they were?
I selfishly want Joe Hart back at the Etihad, so I'm rooting for Celtic.
You're hoping this is not G, then Pam is hoping it is G. We can tell you that Eric Abidal has pulled out. Group letter D. Oh, Pam, it's not us. Sorry, Pam. So they've gone into Group D. So you're all right with that because that means we can still get Celtic.
Never.
It's all about me at the end of the day.
All about Nedum.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm feeling pretty confident now. He's going to whip out Celtic now. Oh, no, it's Newcastle. I'll give it a break then.
Okay.
Can't draw these.
So Newcastle are out.
Are they going to be with PSG or something like that?
Don't know.
Wow.
It'd be around the time we play them in the Carabao, wouldn't it?
Could Newcastle end
before,
up in
yeah.
this group of death here, by the way? I bet they could, because there's no English teams.
Do you know, in
it.
fairness to some of those teams in pot 4, they've got good atmospheres, you know what I mean? And they're not highly favoured, but like, say, going to Galatasaray, you're going to have to earn that, aren't you? You know, going to St James's, even though they've not done anything for years.
Look at Celtic. Look at Celtic. City played there in Pep's first season, didn't beat them home or away.
Yeah.
Okay, so Newcastle. I'm interested in this because of the League Cup as well. Oh, they're in the group of death. Oh, right. I'm happy about that, and I'll give you my instant reaction.
The guy on the screen there, he was with me at Sunderland. He's just died inside he has.
So we play them in the League Cup, sandwiched between 2 Champions League groups. So they're going to play a group of death midweek, then they're going to play us in the League Cup, then they're going to play a group of death the week after as well. I think that's good for us, Brownie.
It is good. We discussed it earlier, didn't we, saying about the draw for the Carabao looked a tough one with Newcastle, but because of what they're going to go and encounter, could they actually rest a lot of people? So looking at that group stage, looking at what they've got around, Newcastle might say, do you know what, for us this year, the Carabao Cup is not important. And for Manchester City, we want every single cup, don't we? That's the difference.
I feel like he'll likely make changes, won't he?
Yeah, more changes, which I think it'll suit City for sure. So looking at that group, very, very tough for Newcastle. I mean, that is welcome back to the Champions League. Doesn't get worse.
Right, sorry. Galatasaray have just come out. We're just waiting to see what group they are going into now. We'll keep talking about Newcastle in a second because I think their fans are going to love it. So, A, it's not us. So Manchester United though, draw Galatasaray. Yeah. So Group A is completed. Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Copenhagen and Galatasaray. I think the Newcastle fans will absolutely love to play those teams.
They will love, for sure, to be back against the creme de la creme, to be in the Champions League. But also, you want to progress, don't you? Do you know, I think... Yeah, listen, I think they'll be enjoying the journey, but they'd want to try and progress. I think that would be the point. But
and their home
great teams to go.
Home game's going to be key for them, aren't they?
Well, you imagine the nights there that it's going to be like for them back in that situation. So, especially this is what the Champions League does. I mean, it's amazing. We're just waiting now to see if Celtic. I mean, imagine how many supporters who want to come down from Celtic. I know you're looking at Joe Hart, and it'd be a great reunion for him.
So Union Berlin.
It's going to be Celtic.
Gone into
I'm 2 from 2 right now. It's going to happen.
Okay, so Napoli, Real Madrid, Braga, and Union Berlin. That is Group C.
You got to get the supercomputer out now to start working out who's left, where, what.
Yes, you have. Somebody a lot cleverer than me will already know. So.
This is some place, by the way.
Switzerland, okay.
Young Boys. I've been there. I covered a game there only recently when the troubled Manchester United. It was an incredible night of football. What a great place to go and visit, to go and see, for the City supporters.
So they are, of course, the Swiss champions.
I'd be happy, new team.
Honestly, it's a mega place.
So Eric Abidal's now opening the ball. They can go into our group. They can go into Group G. There's a chance that we will be playing them. And they have gone into Group G. So that is us. That is our group sorted. We have the Swiss champions, Young Boys, Manchester City, RB Leipzig. We have the Swiss champions there, Young Boys, and we have Red Star Belgrade. I'm ecstatic because that is a variety of teams that
we're going to have to pick him up quickly because we've not got Celtic. He's not best pleased.
He'll just have to go up to Glasgow and see him.
No, it's just Celtic have to make it through their group and then play City in the knockouts.
See them later
that's
on.
it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Get him on the blower. Get up there this week.
Yeah, come on, Joe. Just do well.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry, Nedum. Right, let's see what the fans think now that our group is completed. Group B, by the way, Sevilla, Arsenal, Eindhoven, and Lens are in group there with Arsenal. Ian, and Noah, are you happy with our finished group?
Yeah, but face. I think it'll hard but easy matches.
Okay, yes. Ian, can you get some nice chocolate from there?
Chocolate, yeah. I've been thinking about the beer bank. And obviously, going to be a very, very hot. Young boys, very, very noisy crowd, passionate crowd, yeah. And like say, it's just coach back, not back to play us. There you go. Yeah.
Thank you. So Celtic just came out. I missed the group. I think it's Feyenoord, Atletico, and somebody else Celtic are in with. I think this is the last ball now. Royal Antwerp from Belgium. Is this looks like the last one? Of course, don't forget after this, UEFA will be giving out the awards for the men's and women's player of the year and the coaches of the year. So Group H there was the last group. So all of the groups are now completed, and we know that City are in Group G, taking on RB Leipzig, Red Star Belgrade and Young Boys. Yes, that is names that we're all going to become very familiar with over the next few weeks. The first game, 19th, 20th of September. They're usually pretty quick working out the fixtures and the dates as well. So that is done. Out of interest for you, Manchester United have drawn Munich, Copenhagen and Galatasaray, and Arsenal have drawn Sevilla, Eindhoven and RC Lens. Of course, the French team, that's what we know so far. So by Saturday, the fixtures will be out. You're looking at match day 1 on the 19th or 20th of September. Right, let's go to our React to all and see what they think about that completed group. Crunk, we've got our group. What do you think?
I feel bad for all the distance the players are going to have to cover. I was hoping Celtic, we were going to get draws. That's a short trip, I guess, compared to all the other teams. It's going to be interesting to see the next match after the Champions League, see how that changes the lineup and everything. I'll be very intrigued by that.
Yes, thank you so much. So our group is done. Wait, so what do you think of the group?
It's a very rather easy group, and as I said before, their group game will make our fixture be more flexible, and we can aim to get more trophies, like I said before.
Of course, always. Now it's sort of settling in for you, David. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy with it. I think they've like the guys have said, they've drawn a good group there. They've got a few new teams, so I'm happy with that, and they've avoided some of the tougher teams in the pots. So I think they've got a real good opportunity now.
I think that's a good blend. Do you know when you're actually talking about supporters want somewhere different, and I think from a football perspective,
something new as well.
You know, I think football perspective, I think those teams really, it's as comfortable as you could possibly want.
Do you know, for me, the only thing I think's missing is somewhere new works great for an away game. But like sometimes, you know, for a Champions League group stage, like a massive team coming to the Etihad early doors, it sort of whets the appetite for some of the fans sometimes, you know what I mean? Whereas there's a bit of unfamiliarity with some of those teams when they arrive.
I don't know. I love it. I love when you get to the knockout phase and you've got the jeopardy of it being a big night, because you're going, OK, this is the first leg, it's at the Etihad, Bayern Munich are in town, got to put on a show.
I think it just makes it a lot more comfortable, as I keep saying, for other fixtures in and around it. I think you can get a good start. I think later on we've seen some games that people get results against City and say, how have they managed to do that? Well, you can see straight away that there's been a change. They've not overexerted themselves in the game and might have come away with a 0-0 draw. They're away from home, and where normally if it was full out, you'd go with a 3-4-0 win to City. So I feel it gives you some leeway at times over different situations. So I think it's perfect.
And we know as well that the second half of the season, City go into beast mode. They go into that win at the weekend, win midweek, win at the weekend, win midweek. And when you get into that phase, like when City I just hit the ground running, they're building week after week. That's when you want your big games, I think, because that's when a lot of teams look at City and go, really don't want to play these now.
So, out of interest, Young Boys, Swiss champions, they won their 16th Swiss title last season. They finished 16 points clear of their pack, and they scored 16 more goals than any other team in Switzerland. So you've got the Swiss champions who have walked their league again. You've got the Serbian champions who have walked their league again. Does that not make them, I'm starting to think, Nedum, well, this Champions League, that is their point to actually test themselves. That is their point to kind of try and, that is going to be the highlight of their season.
The highlight of their season?
I think so.
Yeah, I suppose you could say it would be. It's a different level of competition, but I think that's the same for every team that's taking part in this now. The chance to go and play against teams from other countries with different sort of like histories, different ways that they've qualified, playing against the current champions. It is a great test, but the other side of it
is the be all and end all for them because it's so comfortable. Do you know when they had Manchester United, the game I was there when I said it was everything to them. Small stadium, tight, compact. Everybody goes for a sightseeing trip, and they actually turned Manchester United over, and it was a huge story. And they'll be looking.
You were there in Switzerland?
I was actually working, actually covering the game commentary, and that's what I was saying about for the supporters. You go to see the Bears in the centre of Bern, and it's just amazing down the river banks, etc. And it's a club you feel like you can go comfortably get a result because they're not used to these big situations, and I feel like it's a really good draw. But yeah, it's their everything, this game.
Thinking about the 3 away games that we've got, that is 3 teams. So you're saying the atmosphere was amazing in Switzerland. Well, we already know what the atmospheres are like in Germany. I can imagine the atmosphere in Serbia is also going to be incredible. That's 3 intimidating away games in terms of the crowds.
Yeah, I think so. But I think what City are very good at is quietening those crowds. The number of times where City have gone to these big away games and it's been a case of, it's going to be loud, it's going to be threatening, and City have just kept the ball, dulled the stadium, and then scored the goal that they need to just quieten it all down. I think there's.
I don't think even these players now. I don't think they're even registered. Once they get on the pitch, if there's a bit of trouble, they're always aware of the situation. But once they're on it, they're so cool and calm. Let's move it around, and I think that's why they're so good at this moment in time. They're not fazed with any situation. And we're talking about these group stages now and about some atmosphere. I think against the top teams now, they're not fazed. They just go and play their normal game. And I think that's why it happens now. That's why the results keep coming, and it's comfortable.
It's really hard, I think, for home fans to, like, when you're playing against City, it's really, really hard for you to keep that atmosphere going if your team hasn't touched the ball for 10 minutes. And you see what City do sometimes is they get that ball and they go, well, we're not going to let you have this. And it just makes it really hard for them to keep bouncing.
I think where that trades off, though, is if it's the case City can keep the ball, but if City go 1-0 down away from home now, then it's a different sort of energy, from the crowd, because they know, most teams know they're not going to have a ton of ball against City.
Yeah.
But it's not to say that the game's done just because of possession. You know what I mean? Like, even the Sheffield United game on the weekend, if you see the place went nuts when it went 1-1, but they'd barely seen the team have a pass before that point. There is something about the hope, and as long as it's there, they will keep singing. And possession, you accept that you're just not going to have it. You know what I mean?
So, of course, we know that is the group for the men's team in the Champions League, but we also now know who the opponents will be for our EDS, because, of course, the UEFA Youth League, City's EDS are in that, and at this point you play exactly the same teams as the full men's team as well. So we know that our EDS will also be taking on those teams in the group stage. Now, we did speak to manager Brian Barry Murphy a little bit earlier, just before the draw, to get his thoughts ahead of this season's UEFA Youth League.
The people at top of our club see it as probably being the most important benchmark in terms of how we can measure the progress of our players in relation to the top European talent, and we want to expose our players to that level of competition because we believe they're that good. But with that comes I suppose the opportunity to see if we can win games and progress in that competition, or the random nature of it means the games can be very difficult, and if you don't progress and perform really well, you can be out of the group stages, as we found out 2 years ago in a shot. So I think that feeling of jeopardy of you have to perform or else is very healthy for the players and myself, and it's probably what makes the competition so exciting.
And the ability to go and travel for these games, the schedule being more hectic, what kind of lessons do you think it adds to the ability to the players at such a young age?
I think just to get a flavour of what these different countries and cultures provide on a game day is something that I never experienced in my career. So for the players so young to have that is an absolute privilege and a major learning opportunity to go to places like we did last season. Hopefully this season experience different teams and the way they play and the nuances of what a game day feels like. Is priceless for our players, and that adaptation of how we face those difficult games and situations I suppose gives us more in one afternoon than we could in 6 months if we were just playing games here in the UK.
So that's Brian Barry Murphy, manager of our EDS, because of course we now know the teams that they will be playing in the UEFA Youth League. Just so you know as well that the UEFA show is still going on, because they're now going to be giving out the awards for the Men's Coach of the Year, the Men's Player of the Year, Women's Coach and Women's Player of the Year. They're currently going through the nominees for the Men's Coach of the Year, which is down to a final 3, which of course Pep is nominated for. And let's find out. Are they going through the nominees? I'll let you know in just a second if Pep is going to win that award. And yes, he has. Pep Guardiola has won the UEFA Men's Coach of the Year. Huge congratulations to our Pep. Never in doubt, Brownie.
Never in doubt. It shouldn't be, should it? I mean, to win the treble, it was amazing performances all throughout the Champions League campaign from all of the football clubs. You just see the results, the resilience, not conceding goals, winning by huge margins. It was tight in the final, wasn't it? But City were a little bit nervous in that final just to get it over the line, and it's just another accolade, isn't it, for a wonderful manager of people, someone who's just still teaching us all different techniques, different tactics right along the way. And I wonder what he thinks of that. I wonder if he just says another one, thanks very much, move on, or...
Well, it's a shame, of course, we can't hear from him because, of course, we still send Pep all our get well wishes because he's still at home recovering from that back surgery that he had. Out of interest as well, they've just announced the winner of the Women's Coach of the Year, and it has gone to the England coach, Sarina Wiegman. So that's fantastic as well for England. Congratulations to her. I'm going to go back to the wall and just see what they think about Pep winning the Men's Coach of the Year. Wait! Pep's won another award. I imagine you're thrilled for him.
Guardiola, we've got.
It's frozen.
Loves it.
Love it. Thank you, Waits. I think that's what we were all thinking. Sarah, another award for Pep. It was never in doubt, was it?
No, I mean, when you won the treble and everything he did this year, who else are you going to give it to? I'm very happy for him and hope he recovers soon.
Pam,
and hopefully having another trophy this cabinet will make him feel a bit happy about that.
I think, yes, absolutely. It'll help his recovery, Sarah. I agree. Pam, what do you think about Pep winning?
Definitely. Better than a get well card, winning this trophy.
A get well card from UEFA. I like that. Thank you. And Ian and Noah, another award for Pep.
Well, it should be a statue for Pep all over the world. It's been what he's taught everyone began football at grassroots level. You take young kids, goalkeepers in particular. Amazing.
Only thing, guys, is what else should
Yes, Noah, thank you. And Crunk in New York, a word on Pep winning?
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't want to go to the ceremony in the first place. Now he's injured. Here's the excuse for him. Cheers, Graham.
So we're currently seeing Sarina Wiegman. She's picking up her Coach of the Year, Women's Coach of the Year award. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us from around the world. Manchester, China, Cumbria, Germany via Cumbria, New York and Mallorca. We thank you all. I hope you get to some amazing European trips this year if you can. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you all again soon, I'm sure. Bye, Waze. Bye, everyone. I always love how I react to you. I love them. Get them from all around the world. It's absolutely brilliant. So we're now awaiting the award to be given out for the UEFA Men's Player of the Year. It's down to a final 3. Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne are both nominated, and the other nominee in that final 3, some guy called Lionel Messi. So we'll see who picks up. We'll let you know in just a second.
Who do you think will get it?
Haaland, I reckon. I think it'll be him. The Messi thing, I think he will win Ballon d'Or because it's everything, but because it's a UEFA award.
This is for the Champions League.
That's what I mean.
Haaland or De Bruyne? De Bruyne in those knockout games last season was phenomenal. He could do it, He really could do it.
You can say it, but it doesn't mean you're going to speak into existence.
So we've got Haaland, we've got a De Bruyne, Brownie.
Dare you to say
I'm saying who I think will win. I'm saying who I think will win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You think Haaland will win?
I think
because
Haaland
of the
will win.
story, the goals.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like, he comes to a team that's never won it, and then he wins it first year.
It's hard to go, because Kevin's got to all these finals, got so many things, but he's just missed it slightly, hasn't he, with a couple of injuries. It'd be nice for him to get some reward, especially, as I say, he's had it. So I hope, not that it matters, but I regards to that Erling Haaland, I'd hope Kevin De Bruyne would get it.
Yeah. See, we think it's De Bruyne.
No, I said it.
Oh, okay. This couch thinks it's Haaland, so it's us versus you. So we'll find out shortly and we will let you know. Let's go back to talking about the UEFA Youth League, so we didn't get a chance there. We were talking about the men's teams going to these stadiums in these countries where the atmospheres are incredible. The youth team will be doing exactly the same. Nedum, how important is that for the development? What will it be like for them to go to some of these incredible stadiums and countries?
I think, firstly, it's like a huge privilege to get the chance to play in a European competition at an age where, at this point, you've not really having a career as such, but to be able to travel around to sort of learn to prepare for big occasions like that, understanding a different style of football. Because when I was coming through an academy, we basically played people in the Northwest. That's as far as it went. And you kind of knew what it was going to be like, but for them, it's a whole new experience.
I think for me, when I first seen it coming to light was pre-COVID, where this competition started. You'd be able to travel and go and watch games. And I was away at some of these Champions League games, and they'd travel with the team. They'd all be there on the same plane going. So again, it's that feel of excitement going into it. Then everybody would go and watch their game. Obviously, the first team players couldn't, but they'd all be maybe watching it through TV, etc. But they'd all know they'd get back on the plane, they'd all say, this is what happened, he scored, and it's a feel. And it was a little bit more pressure as well to actually go on and perform and go and test yourself, because you're walking back on that plane with the first team saying, how did you get on, what happened? And the experience, as you say, is different levels and different people watching the games. I think it was
different styles of teams as well.
Really
It's like playing youth teams from on the continent. They play different styles of football.
Was this the team with all the ultras?
So this is Croatia. This is when they played split last year. This was played, so it was one leg in the knockout stage. They got beat in Croatia. This was a Tuesday afternoon. And the crowd was insane. They all talked about the atmosphere afterwards. That's a Tuesday afternoon, Nedum.
Yeah, we're talking about like City's first team being able to handle sort of the pressure of a crowd, but that's huge, for a young kid.
You've never done it.
That's massive, yeah. You know what I mean?
I think that was different. I mean, it's just a big test. I think they do get to play now more teams from overseas, etc., from different countries that they didn't with different tests. But a few years ago, that didn't happen. So it's still special because it's got that tag, hasn't it, of the Champions League and somewhere to go with
the fact as a young player, you can see a Champions League draw and feel excited about it because you know how it affects you as well. That's top tier, that.
So our EDS team will play in the UEFA Youth League against the same teams that the men's team play. Now, if you're just joining us, I'll give you a quick refresh of who we have drawn. So we are Group G, and we have drawn RB Leipzig, Red Star Belgrade, and Young Boys. So that is Group G. The first match day will be the 19th or the 20th of September, and we expect the fixtures to be confirmed by Saturday or on Saturday, and we'll know then our 6 different match weeks. So, of course, the first one is the 19th, 20th of September. It comes around very, very quickly. We are into the awards now, and we already know that Pep Guardiola has won the UEFA Men's Coach of the Year. Serena Wiegmann won the UEFA Women's Coach of the Year. They've just given out the UEFA Women's Player of the Year, and it went to Bonmati from Spain, and we're just waiting now for the men's award winner to be given out. So
you can see it. Oh no,
it's the nominees. It's the nominees.
You pointed it.
It went too early.
Hey, by the way, Bonmati, what a player she is.
You're crying it in, by the way.
No, of course it's Erling. If it's Erling, it's 3 out of 4.
You're saying it's Erling.
It's 3 out of 4. It's nailed on.
There is a competition going on in the studio about who's going to win this. So it's between Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne and Lionel Messi. That is the final 3. So the voting took place, and you can see on the UEFA website who else made it. I think Ilkay Gundogan finished 4th,
How does it voting happen, do you know?
So I do know, but I can't remember. Lots of different people in the world of football vote, including coaches, coaches of teams that were in the Champions League, international coaches, significant people in football. They all vote, a points total is given, and they rank them. So Ilkay Gundogan finished in 4th, I think.
So Messi lifting the World Cup was part of that clip then. So what's the sort of
criteria?
I'm looking now, we're seconds away here. Seconds away.
Right, so the winner is Erling Haaland. Congratulations. Sorry, that side of the couch. Well done, Nedum.
It's just predicting the future. It's an easy game, isn't it?
But did you want me to say...
You don't have to be good if you're lucky.
Did you want me to say I honestly knew anyway?
What's that, sorry?
He wasn't training.
Erling Haaland wasn't training.
It's there, look.
So you went out on the training pitch to see who was training when you got here?
Did a body check. To be fair, neither was Kevin.
De Bruyne wasn't training either, was he?
Well, it's a bit obvious, isn't it?
So a huge congratulations to Erling Haaland. He adds that to
Premier League one, yeah.
all of the other trophies that he's won.
He just goes, it's not a bad year, is it? Hey, just collects another one. No, amazing achievement, isn't it, for everybody up there to be getting the awards. Fantastic.
Wow, okay, congratulations to Erling Haaland, congratulations to Pep Guardiola as well. Now, before we go, it's been a very fun just over an hour and 20 minutes with you all. Before we go, we've got just enough time to speak to Guillem Balaguer again, of course, the Spanish football experts. For those of you outside of the UK, Paramount Plus will be showing Guillem's new Champions League documentary, Destination European Nights, where he soaks up the culture around the continent. He crossed the Bosphorus in a ferry, sampled beer and tried his hand at others. What? Guillem's got a job where he goes around sampling beer and going on ferries. Well done to him. But what did he do when he came to Manchester?
I actually went to a chippy opposite the stadium, and I had chips with gravy, which I hadn't had for a long time. I lived in Liverpool for 10 years, and that used to be my dinner many, many times when I was a student. But I hadn't had it since, and it hasn't improved, but still lovely. And it's another food experience, let's call it, in my tour of Europe.
Guillem came to Manchester and had chips and gravy. That's northern, isn't it?
What's your chippy choice?
Chips and gravy.
It is good, isn't it?
Chips and gravy every day, you?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, there you go. Fascinating, isn't it?
No, hang on. Someone's shaking their head.
Fish chips and mushy peas for me.
No sauce?
You don't put gravy on mushy peas, I'm sorry. Salt vinegar.
Well, no one said that. No one said that. You know what I mean? Are you putting your mushy peas on everything else?
On the side.
What's this guy talking about?
Dry,
no, do not take control of this. He's lost the plot.
We've lost the plot. We've just gone off on one. Right, let's remind you. The Champions League draw is complete. The group stage is Manchester City, RB Leipzig, Red Star Belgrade, Young Boys. You might be interested as well to know Group F. It's PSG, Dortmund, AC Milan and Newcastle. Welcome to the Champions League, Geordies. Thank you so much for joining us today on this very special Matchday Live Champions League draw. We will be back with you on Saturday. City take on Fulham. One of your former clubs?
One of a couple. You think you know that?
It's always worth a guess. Yeah.
I think if there's a fixture at the weekend, I've got half a chance, Natalie. But yeah,
don't mess about though. Don't mess about these.
Straight in.
Media team, do they?
Go on, the design team.
It's Alex Williams' retirement this weekend as well. The Fulham game dedicated to him. So make sure you get down there, support him, show him his love. He's a legend.
He is a legend. What a guy.
He's proper legend.
So many years what he's done. One of the best and one of the kindest. I wish him well for the game at the weekend.
I love whenever you bump into Alex Williams around, he always gives you a big hug. It's always lovely. Yeah. Yes, so that is taking place Saturday. City play Fulham. That is a 3 p.m. kickoff. A Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. How joyous. For that, we will have David James will be here giving us stats, I expect, on all of the teams that we've done. He's probably sat at home already with his notepad, going through his notes and giving us stats. We love David James's stats. We've also got Darius Vassell and Kit Simons.
Nice.
Did you play with Kit Simons?
I played with Kit, yeah. We actually interviewed him here
I remember that,
interviewed, sat here, and so he's been on, but only in spirit, so be good to get Kit.
Is he a Fulham manager? Is that
He's done a bit of everything, hasn't he, Kit? Still loves his coaching with Chris Coleman, and another nice one, lovely guy, and he stayed involved for such a long time in football, and very knowledgeable. I'm sure it'll be entertaining.
So FG is up in the studio on Matchday Live for Saturday. It starts at 1:55 UK time. So do join us ahead of a 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff against Fulham. It's also got a Brazilian flair to the game on Saturday as well. So definitely don't
miss the show. Is that for FG's touch, is it? The Brazilian side of it? Or?
Definitely not.
No.
Gosh, definitely not. Yes. Goodness me, did you see that FG's touch? Right. Thank you again for joining us. We will finish the show today why not? The more times we can see this, the better. Let's have a little recap of that very fixture from last season when we had an incredible, dramatic afternoon against Fulham. We'll see you on Saturday.
I think all the stats would suggest that this will be a comfortable afternoon for Manchester City, but this is Premier League football. Who knows?
Here they come with Gundogan into the gap. Lovely one. Alvarez one-on-one scores. Wonderful hit by Julian Alvarez. Oh, and all of a sudden Wilson's in the gap. Referee says penalty and sent off. Joao Cancelo and Fulham are level at the Etihad. Erling Haaland comes on for Julian Alvarez. Offside is the call. Bruyne is brought down. Penalty. Erling Haaland. Listen to the Etihad Stadium.
It was really, really good. One of the best experiences we ever had here, and it was a great afternoon for us.